Hello. So in this video, I thought I would look back on a wonderful time that I had. Really privileged visit to Tokyo last year when I visited not one, but two dressing salons, two of the better known. Zoom, which I have featured on this channel already, and now through some of the Transformation Tuesday shorts, my experience is another. Cotton, very well known in Japan and outside, I'm sure, as well, catering to quite a large international audience, I understand, including they have very good English speaking in their Tokyo salon as well. They actually have two outlets. One is in Osaka, which shows perhaps the popularity of cross-dressing in Japan and the readiness to try out these services. And I have to say, the standard of transformation, the ability of the makeup artists and stylists and facilities available certainly in Tokyo, where I visited, along with some wonderful photography, really is exceptional. Now, on this visit last November, I actually decided that I would try out something that I've never done before, which is cosplay. And I have to say I have fairly mixed feelings about the particular character I decided to take on. I was in Japan, there was this opportunity, and so I thought I would try out the traditional Japanese schoolgirl look. Now, it's not something I would normally do, partly because that's not age specific, and yeah, I'm not entirely sure if I would feel comfortable if it was, as it were, taking on a real character. But it's also is not something where I would typically be able to express myself, my filmed self, as Chloe or whatever, because it is an invented, totally invented character, a fantasy character, if you like. Not that this particularly is not something that features my own fantasies, but I thought I would try it out. I know very little about cosplay. I'm not familiar particularly with manga and anime and superheroes, and whilst I think I probably can have a little bit of an appreciation around why many people are attracted to characters and sort of engage in role play, is not something that I've particularly been drawn to before or really have any exposure to. So this was a first. And I have to say, I felt very pleased with what they managed to do. It was a real example of the wonderful transformation power, and we had some fun with that. He's not actually a character I will be dropping back into very soon, I don't think. As I say, I felt a little bit uncomfortable, even though it was a playful, not meant to be real character. But there's something about the age specific. The age and nature of this character. Maybe if I was cosplaying someone more, more my age, maybe that would work. Anyway, it had to be tried. So I will show some of the pictures that came out from that wonderful experience here. There's a real contrast on the same visit. I tried a look that was much more traditionally stay-at-home, perhaps Japanese, and which I felt incredibly comfortable with. In fact, one of the most comfortable outings, as it were, as Claire that I've ever felt, really feeling very able to express myself, the kind of energy within being able to flow out. Sadly, it was an all too short visit, as always these are, and sadly, Tokyo is a long, long way away from the UK. So hopefully I will be able to return someday. And I do recommend you check out Cotton if ever you are there and want to explore this whole area. And indeed, check out their amazing website, their YouTube channel, and their blog. I'll put all of the links in the description for this video. Meantime, here are some of my pictures. Well, that was really quite an experience, way beyond what I was imagining was possible actually. Great work by two beautiful ladies at Cotton, and I certainly hope that I'll be able to come that way again. Sadly now though, it's time for me to leave this wonderful city and say bye for now.